My friends, when we carefully look at the western part of the Indian subcontinent on a world map, the most prominent and vast yellow territory that introduces itself to the world is the great Indian desert of Rajasthan. But if you dig deep into the history of this barren land and the secrets hidden within every single grain of its sand, your entire perspective of this region will change forever. Spanning over 200,000 square kilometers, we usually view this place today as just a desolate wasteland of scorching heat, fiercely blowing dry winds, and thorny bushes. But when we cross-check the old pages of history and modern geological research, we discover mind-blowing facts that can startle the entire world. According to scientific evidence, this terrifying and lifeless desert we see today was actually a dense green forest about 5,000 years ago, vibrant with wildlife and nourished by the floods of one of the richest rivers in human history. In the Rigveda, the oldest ancient text of India, a river is repeatedly described as more majestic than the Ganges and the Yamuna, a holy river originating from the icy peaks of the Himalayas, flowing through modern-day Haryana and Rajasthan before emptying into the Arabian Sea, and that was the mighty Sarasvati River which once served as the absolute lifeline of this entire land. For hundreds of years, modern historians dismissed this Sarasvati River as just a mythical story, a fictional concept, or a mere religious belief. But when 21st-century modern technology and satellite imaging systems arrived, a massive shock was waiting for scientists worldwide. When the American Space Agency NASA and the Indian Space Agency ISRO jointly analyzed infrared and radar images of the Thar Desert, they discovered giant dried riverbeds, known as paleochannels, hundreds of feet beneath the dry desert sand, and the flow path of this underground river matched the path of the Sarasvati River described in the ancient texts by 100%. When we search for the reason why such a massive river and a vast green empire suddenly vanished to turn this place into a desert, we are introduced to the terrifying power of nature, because about 4,000 years ago, a series of intense earthquakes occurred in the Indian subcontinent, causing the tectonic plates deep inside the earth to shift severely. Due to this massive geological disruption, the Yamuna River and the Sutlej River, which were the primary sources of water for the Sarasvati River, completely changed their directions of flow, as the Yamuna turned eastward to join the Ganges River, while the Sutlej turned westward to become a part of the Indus River system. When the fundamental source of water was cut off, the Sarasvati River gradually began to dry up, and at the same time, global climate change caused monsoon rainfall to drop drastically, destroying the green forests and allowing the desert sand to take over the entire region, which is precisely why advanced cities of the Indus Valley civilization like Kalibangan ended up buried under this sand. While this scientific mystery of nature is one side of the coin, the most mysterious and haunting secret in the history of this desert, standing as a testament to human cruelty and pride, is the village of Kuldhara in the Jaisalmer district. Established in the year 1291, this village was inhabited by Paliwal Brahmins, who were not just limited to spiritual knowledge but had developed an incredible water harvesting technology to effectively conserve rainwater and farm in the harshest desert conditions, making Kuldhara and its surrounding 84 villages extremely wealthy and prosperous. However, a dark night in the year 1825 changed the course of history forever, because at that time, the Diwan or Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Jaisalmer was a man named Salim Singh, who was an extremely cruel, tyrannical, and greedy individual. Salim Singh, who oppressed the people of the entire kingdom with his excessive tax extortions, suddenly cast his eyes upon the beautiful daughter of the village chief of Forthe, demanding that the girl be forcibly married to him, or else he threatened to levy crushing taxes on the entire village and execute all the men, giving them a strict deadline of just 24 hours while leaving his soldiers to guard the area. To protect their clan's honor, the modesty of their daughter, and their self-respect, the Paliwal Brahmins refused to surrender to the cruel minister, holding a secret meeting that dark night with the chiefs of all 84 surrounding villages to make a historic decision. In that single dark night, thousands of people from Forthe and all the neighboring 84 villages suddenly abandoned their centuries-old homes, hard-earned properties, grains, and livestock just as they were, walking out of the village with nothing but the clothes on their backs. When Salim Singh's soldiers arrived at the village the next morning, they found that far from a living human being, not even the sound of a tiny bird could be heard, as the entire village was as empty as a graveyard, and to this day, no solid evidence has ever been found to explain where those thousands of people went or how they vanished in a single night. However, before leaving, the villagers held water in their hands and cast a terrifying, absolute curse upon the land, declaring that from that day forward, no human being would ever be able to inhabit this place, and whoever dared to settle here would face total annihilation of their lineage. Perhaps due to the dreadful power of that curse, no family that attempted to rebuild or live in that village over the past 200 years survived, with local legends stating they all met bizarre and untimely deaths. Today, this site is under the control of the Archaeological Survey of India, and due to the strange energies present here, it is legally forbidden for any tourist to remain inside after 6 o'clock in the evening. When prominent paranormal investigation teams from India spent nights researching the location with high-tech equipment, they reported recording electronic voice phenomena, sudden drops in temperature, and invisible shadows moving through the air. While science proves how a small change in nature can destroy an entire civilization and a river like the Sarasvati, the history of Forthe village stands as living proof of how one man's cruelty and a community's pride can turn an entire empire into a cursed, abandoned wasteland. So if you enjoyed this deep dive into history and mysteries, make sure to like the video and comment below on which mystery you want to explore next. Thank you.